And our next speaker here, we have Scott Murphy, who is a local appraiser and is able to speak to some projects that'll impact the home value of your house. One of the topics, though, that most interested me that he had mentioned was the impact on home values of becoming a city. We've recently become a city in the last couple of years, and so I'd be curious to see, I'm hoping you say home values go up. Okay, good. Well, with that, I'll pass the mic on then to Scott Murphy to give us an update.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I won't hold you in suspense on that. I just recently wrote an article for the Georgia Real Estate Commission, and Janice will send it to everybody or make it available to you as well. We don't have a lot of data yet because most of the cities are less than 10 years old, and your city is quite a bit less than that as well. But the general trend that we're seeing in values is a relatively decent and a measurable increase in value for creating a city. And it has to do with the identifiability of the city. It has to do with the draw and the sort of the demand out there from homeowners to be in a defined area and have that pride of living in that area, and it really does translate through. So today I want to share with you some things that might help you increase the value of your home. Let me move past some of this preliminary stuff. An appraisal is simply an estimate of market value. My job as an appraiser is to come out and put myself in the shoes of a typical buyer. So on one hand, don't think that appraisers necessarily are that much more intelligent than you are. You as a buyer of a home have a pretty good concept of what might add value. So just ask yourself, would this make a difference to me? What we do is we put together an estimate of market value based on three different approaches. We look at what homes have sold for, we look at what it would cost to rebuild, less depreciation, we consider income, but primarily it's what other comparables are selling for in the area. So it's very important for appraisers now when we're seeing these new cities to make sure we stay within those city limits, that we're using properties that are within the confines of that established city. Well, one of the first things we do when we're trying to determine where a property is we try to identify that neighborhood area. We try to determine whether we're in an urban, suburban, or rural area. And the way we do that is if you were to stand naked on your front porch and the neighbors cannot see you, that's rural. If you stood naked on the front porch and they call the cops, that's suburban. If you stood naked on the front porch and they ignore you, that's urban. Sorry, I had to squeeze that in. But one of the biggest factors that contributes to the value of your home is square footage. So let me just quickly define for you square footage so you can keep that in mind, and then I'm going to move on to some of the types of things that you could do to increase the value of your home. Basically, gross living area is that which is above grade, and it's all finished to the same quality as the rest of the house. Basically, if you put your foot on the floor of any given level and any portion of that floor is below the grade of the ground, that's considered below grade space. So for most of us, that's a basement space. And that's not to say we don't give value to your basement. We certainly do, but we have to separate it out. So we don't just add the basement to the first floor to the second floor. That's not how it's done. We look at the above grade space, compare that to the other comparables, and then we look at the below grade or the basement space and compare that to the comparables. Generally, basement will bring back anywhere from $60 to $70 a square foot for the typical home in the Peachtree Corners area. But it's possible that we could give you 100% or as much value as if it was above grade. Maybe your basement is almost fully, exposed and not underground. It's got a lot of windows. It's got high ceilings, very high quality finish. So that's all within the appraiser's prerogative and professional judgment to make that determination and value that accordingly. But we do separate out the space. So if we're looking at this typical home, which I know I haven't given you much information here, but it's got a living room, dining room, kitchen, family room on the first floor, about 1,000 square feet. Upstairs it has 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, another 1,000 square feet. We've got about 2,000 square feet. Then when we put it on a basement, another 1,000 square feet with more finished rooms down here. We don't just add that up and come up with 3,000. We keep it 2,000, and then we compare the basement separately. So what's a bathroom? Just because you stick a toilet and a sink in a closet doesn't necessarily make it a bathroom. Basically, a full bathroom has a shower or tub or both, a toilet and a sink. And a half bathroom has a toilet and a sink. Sometimes you may have a home that's called a Jack and Jill, right, where you've got a sink, a toilet shower, and then another sink. That would be considered one full bath. Now, if there were toilets out in each of those dressing areas, that would be considered a bath and a half. And some of the new homes that we're seeing these days, the masters get to the point that they actually are truly two full baths. They have their own separate toilet areas, their own separate sink areas, and separate shower or tub areas. But probably more importantly is, what is a bedroom? A bedroom is a room of adequate size. Some counties and cities have certain specifics to it, but from an appraiser standpoint, we look for it to be at least 100 square feet. So think of a room that's at least 10 by 10, excluding the closet. The closet would protrude out from that. Must have a closet to make it a functional bedroom. It's got to have a closet, a window, and a door, and that window has to be a means of ingress and egress. So a skylight or fixed window doesn't qualify, and this is where sometimes basement space disqualifies itself from being a bedroom because it doesn't even have a window, or the window's fixed and doesn't provide that means of ingress and egress. You do have to have a door so that it can be closed off. So maybe you've got that room in your house that's a study or a den, and yeah, it's got 100 square feet, it's got a window, it's got a closet, but there's just no door to close it off. You know, that's maybe one of the things you might want to consider if you're thinking of selling your home. If we put a door on this, then we qualify as a bedroom. It has to be heated and cooled and finished to the same quality as the rest of the house. And then one of the biggest factors that disqualifies some of these rooms, it has to have adequate access to a full bathroom. So if that room that's on the first floor, that's your study or den, and it's got the closet window, it's got the door, it's heated and cooled, but the only bathroom that's there is a half a bathroom, that room doesn't qualify as a bedroom. You can't have even a family member or a weekend guest come and stay without them having to go upstairs and go into your son's SpongeBob bathroom to take a shower. So it would need to have adequate access to that full bathroom. This also comes into play when you're talking about some of the rooms on the second floor. You may have 3 or 4 bedrooms up there and then that big bonus room over the garage, right? And it's easily 100 square feet. You put a closet in it, you got a door on it, it's got the window and everything else, but all the bathrooms up there are private. There's no access to a bathroom. You have to go through another bedroom to get to a bathroom. That doesn't qualify. So we've seen situations where we take a private bath, put a door into the hallway, now it becomes a common bath, and now you're able to count that bonus room as a bedroom. I cut this out because I rarely see appraisers referenced in magazine articles, but I think what they were talking about here in this article was the countertops. And it says, and not to be sexist, but he cares what the appraiser thinks of this new countertop they have, and she cares what the neighbors think, right? This is always that battle that you're having between husband and wife, and you can either be on one side or the other. But, you know, is this going to add value, you know, or not? So you do have to take that into consideration. I'm sure if they picked out a seafoam green colored countertop, it's going to cost the same amount of money, but it's probably going to have a much bigger impact on the overall value of their home. It's not going to contribute nearly as much as one that's more desirable by the masses out there. So you need to think about that when you're going to go to sell the property. Is this improvement, or is the color of this carpet that we're choosing something that the masses are going to be interested in? I have a term that I use, the marketability funnel, where you've got this great funnel, and at the very top you've got the homes that have the greatest market appeal, and down at the very bottom are the very unique specialty homes. Those homes are going to take a lot longer to sell, and probably sell for less than they could have if they had better market appeal. So take that in consideration. My wife hates being married to an appraiser because everything has to pass the litmus test. But, you know, we do want to be comfortable in our homes, right? So we do want to put in things that we are truly going to enjoy. So just kind of weigh those two things against each other. You know, there are a lot of things that affect the value of your home. How consistent are you with the rest of the neighborhood? Also, spend time out looking at other homes. You know, take a day or two and go and look at the open homes and see what other people are doing. Particularly go to the new homes in the area, see what the builders are doing and their decorators that are coming in and putting things in there. You know, make sure you stay current with what's going on in the area, colors, materials, and things of that nature. The condition and the appeal of your home is very important. Quality, from an appraisal standpoint, we take quality into consideration. It's not just about your exterior brick frame and stucco. It's all the things that make up quality. Hardwood floors, granite countertops, you know, even the ceiling heights and extent of moldings and so on. Construction and layout and location, of course, is quite important. Your proximity to commercial is going to play an impact on your home. If we're talking about residential properties, you don't want to have proximity to commercial. You don't want to back up to the public shopping center or something of that nature. So, you know, keeping that in mind and weighing it against, yes, you have benefits of new shopping, but you don't want to be the one that hears the trucks coming in and out. So, play with that. New construction is very desirable. It's driving the market right now. But the beauty of the Peachtree Corners area is there's very limited land left available for new construction. So if people want to be in this area, which there is such a strong demand, they're going to be forced to purchase your resale home. So again, try to stay in line with what new construction is doing, but realize that you're in a great position because there's just such a limited ability to that, having that. Let me jump ahead to, yeah, right here. You know, I could tell you the best things to do to your house is kitchens and baths, and that's true, that's important. But one of the things that people don't think about is landscaping. I used to have a list of the best things to do and the worst things to do, and landscaping was on both lists because you want to do enough landscaping to get people into your home. You want to, you know, create a pleasant environment, that curb appeal, if you will, to get them in. But you don't want to spend $50,000 or $60,000 and create this Callaway Gardens in the back that somebody's not going to want to have to maintain and so on. So there is a point at which you can go too far. So doing a lot, especially in the older homes that we all have, cutting back a lot of that landscaping that's just grown and grown and grown and grown, coming in with fresh new landscaping and increasing that curb appeal. The driveway and the exterior of the home, and paint colors. You know, a lot of homes in the era of our homes in this area have the red brick with the white trim. You know, that was very traditional in years past, but the new buyers are looking more towards the craftsman style homes that have more different and different color palettes. So try and stay in tune with that as well. Your exterior amenities definitely add value. If you can expand a deck or add a deck, it's certainly going to add value as we seem to have a big trend towards more outdoor space. You know, 10, 15 years ago, if you asked me if you put in this big outdoor patio with fireplace and all that, I would tell you forget it. You're not going to get your money back. But more and more, as we move on, these things are becoming more and more popular. Thus, there's more demand. There's more people wanting it, and thus it's going to increase the value of your home more. So, you know, consider those types of things. And then pool. Pool always comes up in these types of discussions. Should I put in a pool? Should I not put in a pool? Does a pool add value? How much is a pool worth? Actually, from an appraisal standpoint, the best number I can put in an appraisal for a pool is 0. And what that means is that I found 3 or 4 or 5 other comparables, however many I'm going to use in my report, that all have pools. So now I don't have to come up with that number. I don't have to try to determine it. Unfortunately, that's not always so easy to do, so we do have to determine what that pool is worth, and it varies. If you're in a $100,000, $150,000 to $200,000 swim tennis neighborhood, that pool is probably worth nothing and could even be a negative value because you're already paying for the swim tennis in the neighborhood and you're in an entry-level home that certainly won't pay for that. If you're in maybe the $500,000 home, there's more demand for that pool, so you'll get more back. If you're in a if you're not in a neighborhood, more of an estate type home, as you approach closer to $1 million and more, the pool is far more valuable. You almost expect it in some of those homes. So you can see how it's a sliding scale, and there's no one number that I can give you for what that pool is worth or what it isn't worth. But you know, it's definitely an investment that's not going to give you an immediate return. So I definitely don't recommend it unless you're planning to stay in the house for some time, at least 5 to 7 years, to get some enjoyment out of it. Let the market continue to grow, and thus then you'll be able to get a larger percentage back on the investment in your pool. The interior of your home, of course, paint is definitely an improvement that you'll get all of your money back, if not more. It usually returns 2.5 times the cost to do it. So I do not recommend paint allowances when you're listing your home. You want to paint it, have it presented in its best possible format. If I don't follow that up with carpeting, yes, carpet would also be exactly like that. Do not give a carpet allowance. I definitely recommend replacing the carpet, again, with a very neutral, nice, good quality carpet that the typical buyer is going to be interested in. Buyers are so finicky these days. They're looking for those perfect homes. They're looking for that new type construction. And if you're in an older resale home, which most of us are, you want to try to make it as new as you possibly can. So those are two improvements that will give you at least twice their investment back right away. Hardware. What's in now? You know, I just got done replacing all my brass with oil rub bronze, and now we're into brushed nickel. So, you try to, again, keeping up with trends. If you've still got a lot of that shiny brass, you may want to think about switching that out to some degree, especially doorknobs and cabinet hardware. You can go as far as changing the hinges and everything as well, but that's something that buyers are looking for. That's something that kind of dates your home, so you'll want to try to improve that if possible. In your kitchen, of course, updating your appliances. Cabinet refacing is generally the best angle. Completely replacing cabinets, unless it's absolutely necessary or they were just very poorly built in the first place, is not usually necessary. Countertops, again, what is the big in thing? Is granite still the top, or is it quartz, style stone, corian, and so on? So again, try to play your market, know the price range that you're in, see what your competition is, what your neighbors are doing, will help guide you through that. But if you've got laminate countertops, the market's generally looking for some type of solid surface material. And again, it almost always comes back that it'll be a positive return immediately on your dollar if you're getting ready to sell, to go to some type of a granite or something. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Bathrooms, again, too, bringing the granite or that solid surface into the baths as well, updating the hardware, showers and tubs and so on, replacing tile or refinishing tile. There's a lot of companies that can come in and spray that tile and it'll look absolutely brand new, and you won't have to completely replace it. That's an option sometimes as well. Basement kind of is like the pool. It's going to give you a positive return. Buyers definitely love finished basements, but it's going to cost you more than you're going to get back initially. So you want to get some enjoyment out of it, and look at your neighborhood, look at your price range, see if home theaters is something that buyers are interested in, elaborate bars, kitchens, in-laws, and so on. In-law suites is becoming more and more popular as we move through this baby boomer and into the next generation of family. There's a lot of boomerang kids coming back from college, so the in-law suites are very popular. Also, ranch-style homes along those same lines is attractive to the masses of baby boomers that are out there now looking for stepless homes, one-story homes. So if you have a ranch, you are in good shape, or if you're looking to buy something, ranch would be something to consider that would probably appreciate and value better than others. Again, having some type of bedroom and bathroom down there would also be appealing. Maintenance items, as our houses are 20 plus years old, it all of a sudden starts, roofs, furnaces, hot water heaters, and so on. So, try to keep up with those as time goes on. Don't let them all hit you at one time. It's difficult from an appraisal standpoint because, I know you invest thousands of dollars into a brand new furnace system. You're wondering, am I going to get that money back immediately? It's a blended thing between what you're going to save in your energy efficiency, and a buyer is definitely going to recognize that, and what you're going to get back from a typical buyer. Because, I don't care if your furnace is brand new or maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years old. Once you start getting beyond that or what have you, and the energy efficiency of it starts to change, then I'll start to change my mind. But maintenance items are a little different than some of the other improvements. So definitely consider high efficiency. It's going to give you that immediate return on your energy savings, and buyers will recognize that. Same thing with tankless water heaters and so on. Roofs and windows. Windows is probably one of the biggest losses of energy in many of these homes, especially with the single pane windows that a lot of us have. So that's something you definitely want to consider. Well, that pretty much takes me through just about everything I had more prepared in case we needed to go longer. So are there any questions for me right here at this point? All right. Yes.
I've done the do-it-yourself pest control. The house was built for 87. They put a barrier down on the floor date and we go to the fall. And basically, the 100-year barrier, just from what I've been told by the both experts, is that, do I need to be, I have a ranch on a slab. Should I be that concerned about? And I don't have a lawn or anything like that. Actually, I just do it myself. And I've never been worried about it, but should I be worried about it? Because
I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it from the inspection side and see how that goes on. But from an appraisal standpoint, you should be pretty well covered. But, we are in a very heavily infested termite area, so.
You mentioned the age and population. So I'm curious, what have you seen in the way of elevators, lifts, that sort of stuff?
Yes. Elevators become a lot more popular. Or even if you're building a home and you don't think you need an elevator right now, build an elevator shaft, which then you would utilize that space as closet space on each floor, but somebody could easily come in and put the elevator in themselves. So, but we're seeing that more and more. So if I were to build a new home myself, I would definitely have some type of shaft or have it prepared for someone who might want an elevator. Because I do have a picture of a house that I appraised, a Peachtree Industrial, where the fellow moved into it and was handicapped and it didn't have an elevator, so he put the elevator on the outside of the house. And it looks like this big fat chimney going up the side of the house, and it comes into the breakfast room and it comes in an awkward place in the bedroom. So you can't retrofit for it. So, right.
Overall, how do you see home values? And I assume you do a lot in this area too.
Yeah.
Are we sort of back yet? Are we? How are things kind of progressing?
Yes, this area has recouped all of that it lost in the economic downturn, and we're probably anywhere from 8 to 12% above and moving in that direction. So I think we're going to see here in 2015, we'll probably see modest gains, which is good. We don't want it racing off like it did before, and probably see anywhere from 5 to 6% appreciation over the next year. So things have recovered. We also offer a service, if you're interested, if you are considering selling your home, where we can come out and help you determine what the property is worth, what things you could do to your home to maximize the value of that property, and then act as your consultant throughout the whole purchase transaction. So I've got information over there to talk about all of our services, and it's been my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I thought, again, another great presentation, very educational.